over to you.
All right. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay. All right. So today we're going to be looking at introduction to Node.js. Right. Okay. So but first, I want to ask, for how many of us are here? I think we're up to 5. All right. So please, guys, I really want to know what your schedules are like. Right. For those of us on this call now, when is going to be the best time for you to be having the classes? So Friday is out of it. I just want you guys to just choose one other day of the week that we can be having this class. So Chomi, all right, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Chomi, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Okay, so let me hear your opinion. When do you think we should be having our second class during the week? Friday is out of it.
Okay, during the week.
Yeah, during the week.
And Saturday's out of it too.
Yeah, weekends, weekends out of it.
Okay. On Wednesday.
Okay, is that your preferred day?
Yeah, Wednesday for me.
Okay, cool. So let's hear from Suleiman Magaji. Okay, Suleiman, please. Are you here with us, Suleiman? Or yeah, if I pronounce it right.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. So when is going to be your preferred day of the week to be having classes? Well,
I think
day,
Wednesday
just
will
one.
be fine.
Wednesday too.
Wednesday
Okay,
is
thank
okay.
you. Yeah, okay. So okay. Please quickly mute yourself. All right. Joe, are you here with us? Please. When is going to be your preferred day? Joe.
Wednesday is nice.
Oh, okay.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah. I heard that.
Okay.
Okay. So I think that's all for now. So Wednesday. Okay, we'll see what we can do about it. And if it's what we can be if it's what we can consider, then fine. We'll conclude on that.
Okay, yeah, so a quick one. So Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 10:45 has already been taken. So you have the rest of the day to pick a time. Okay.
Okay, so if we're going to conclude on Wednesday, it's going to be probably from 11.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Let's just jump straight into it then. So let me share. Okay, I think I'm sharing my screen already, sir. Can you guys see my screen?
No, you're not sharing it.
Oh, okay. Oh boy. All right, let me share then. Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. So I have a brief one here about what Node.js is. Okay, so let's just look at it. So it says, what is Node.js? Well, what I have here says Node.js is a JavaScript runtime built on Chrome's V8 JavaScript engine. Yeah. So, okay, let me just open this link. Okay, so there's V8 engine here. Okay, so it says, so now what is V8 engine, if you'd ask? So V8 engine is Google's open source high performance JavaScript and WebAssembly engine written in C++. Well, we don't have anything to do with this. So, but yeah, I just wanted us to just, at least know what V8 engine is. You might want to ask, what is it? So it is a Google's open source high performance JavaScript and WebAssembly engine. I think it does more of the compiling of our JavaScript codes and all that. So furthermore, Node.js brings event-driven programming to web servers. Yeah, it handles everything, every request. It handles them in a callback function. So basically everything in Node.js is just like you're listening for an event. When it comes in, you fire a callback function. So that's just it. So it enables development of fast web servers in JavaScript. Yes. So when you are building a web server with Node.js, everything is super fast. Okay, so why? Because it's built on Google Chrome's V8 engine. Yeah, it's very fast. So Google has they've invested a lot in their V8, that engine that you're using to power Chrome. So it makes it very, very fast. And if you can imagine a fast, let's say a fast engine already, an engine that's super fast, that has a lot of speed, then you now build Node.js on it. Meanwhile, Node.js too has its own efficiency. It has its own what's it called? Yeah, let's say efficiency. Yes. So combined with what V8 is offering, so it makes it super fast. It handles everything, requests very fast. It's efficient. So now developers can create scalable servers without using threading. Yeah. Okay. So I think Node.js works in a single thread. Yes, unlike other programming languages, unlike PHP, Python, that creates different threads for every single request, and that can cause a lot on the systems or the browsers. Yeah, the systems. What's it called? Yeah, the system's RAM. It can take a lot of spaces on it. When different requests are coming in, it uses every request takes in separate threads. So every thread creates its own space on the memory. So it can make your system even slower and things like that. Yeah. So, okay. But Node.js uses a single thread. It handles everything. Every request that comes in, it passes everything in an event queue. Event queue rolls out events based on what's on the priority. So if a get request comes in and maybe it has to make a call to the server or to the database, it just queues it in the event loop or event queue rather. So the event queue has something called event loop. So it's like loops through it. If it gets to this particular one, it pops it out in a callback function. So everything happens in like a synchronous way. When a request comes in, it gets to the queue. If another request comes in, it gets to the queue. So after like doing some functions, it goes back to the event queue. It brings out whatever it's there. Like if it's the first one that is there and the request has been completed, it brings it out from the event queue and then trigger a callback function to tell you that, oh, it's done with this request. Here is your data. And everything happens very fast. You don't even know, like just wait for it and it's super fast. Your browser does not need to like load too much because Node.js is fast, of course. So a little request, you get it. But Node.js does not handle like what's it called, heavy task. You can't build a heavy task with Node.js. So if you want to build something like something that takes a lot of memory, like maybe like computing, like doing some serious mathematical operations, you cannot use Node.js for that. So we'll get to that part shortly, but let's keep moving on. Okay, so it uses callbacks to signal the completion of a task. I've mentioned that already. So when you make a get request, it goes to the request goes to the event loop, or it first gets to the database to fetch what you want, and then if it's taking time, it pushes that request in the event loop, and then after completion, it uses a callback function to like trigger that thing back, like trigger the response, bring it out from the event loop, and it gives you what it fetches from the database or what you requested for. It brings it out of the database and send it back to you in just a callback function. Yeah. So everything happens asynchronously. Of course, you want to await a promise when it comes in. So everything just happens very fast. Okay, so now you want to ask, why should I use Node.js? Okay, if I'm coming from a PHP background, why do I even need Node.js? Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So Node.js is fast and scalable. Yeah, it's efficient, and to also mention, its popularity in the industry has made the devs on this track very high in demand, of course. Like everywhere now, people are looking for Node.js developers. Like, okay. And also for developers, you coming from a front end background, let's say maybe you have a framework you're working with before, like maybe React, or should I say Vue.js or Angular, or you are working with JavaScript already, and now you're coming to pick like a part on the back end. Yeah, Node.js is the best for you because you already know JavaScript. So why would you want to go and learn another language entirely when you have Node.js here for you? Okay, so it's popular because of the fast and efficient work that it's been doing, and it's highly scalable. So it's also an advantage for web developers as they don't have to learn another language entirely to kickstart their backend journey. Yes, coming from, I say, React.js, and you want to pick a track on the backend, Node.js is best for you. Just follow it, and then everything becomes simpler for you. You don't have to go and start learning functions, learning the basic of that particular programming language you're going to learn. So everything you use on the front end, similarly to what you use on the back end, except you don't have to be doing something like some DOM manipulation. There's no DOM on the back end. So your function, your arrays, your objects, how you create methods and use them, your async awaits, everything. You just bring them back here and start using it. So everything is still the same thing here. Okay, so Node.js has proven its usefulness in the industry in terms of server development. Yeah, its ability to handle multiple requests at a low response time, and it does this asynchronously. Yes, it's very fast. It handles requests like super fast, especially when you're using async await to resolve promises. Everything is super fast for you. Like make a request in less than some seconds, milliseconds, you've gotten your response. It's super fast. And it can handle multiple requests at a low response time. Yes. Okay, you are requesting from here, different devices, and at a single time, at a single timestamp, those requests comes in, it handles them very fast. It does not wait. Like event loop is there for it. Once this event comes in, it pushes it to the event loop. If another one comes, it pushes it there. So it handles them one after the other. Okay. So you don't have to, the code does not have to wait at this particular line. Like, okay, there's a request going on, so I have to stay here and wait for the response to come in. No. Once it gets to that particular place, the what's it called? The event get pushed in the event loop. That particular operation get pushed, that function get pushed in the event loop. So the code can continue executing to the bottom. So whenever it's done processing it, then it gets pushed back out of that event loop. And then JavaScript knows to go back there that, oh yeah, there's a callback function here. Okay, let me quickly get that data. Once it gets it, it brings it out back. It's as if it's just running from top to bottom without waiting. Everything is super fast for it. Like it does everything very, very fast. That's why Node.js is efficient, it's very fast, and people are using it. Developers are switching to Node.js. It's high in demand. You can go just any of your job sites that you've been, or like, yeah, anywhere. You can go on, what's it called, Stack Overflow rather. You see it there. I don't know, Indeed, go there, you see it there. Jobberman, I don't know, just mention it. Node.js developers are high in demand, yes. And I think it's one of the reasons why you would want to learn it, yes. So, okay. It's also an advantage for web developers as they don't have to, okay, yeah, we've talked about that. And then using JavaScript for both backend and frontend has shown a great boost in teams' performance and productivity. Yeah. So, okay, if you are working on the front end and there's another person working on the back end, since you're using JavaScript and I'm using Node.js, everything just correlates to each other. Yes. You're sending me an object. Okay. I know how to use object already. Yeah. I know how to use it. I just have to, work with it. We have mutual understanding. If I'm saying something in JavaScript way, you on the backend can be able to understand because you're also using JavaScript for the backend. So we can relate together. If you're getting this error, I know of this error because I'm working on the front end. And if you're getting one particular error, I must be familiar with that error on the front end too. So what do you want to call it? Is it okay? The popular error, I think it should be this JSON pass something something. I don't know, but it's very popular. So front end used to get that too, back end used to get that too. So if I'm working on the back end and you're working on the front end and I get that error, I can just tell you, oh, this is the error I'm getting. You'll be able to understand because we are both speaking the same language. Yes, speaking. Yeah, you get it. Using because we don't speak programming language, we use it. So yeah, we're both using the same programming languages. So it's also worth mentioning that Node.js is an open source project which is also part of what made it so popular among the developers. Yeah, it's open source and you can come in and contribute to it if you want. And developers love open source things. Okay, so yeah. So lastly, it's the best option for single page apps. Most of the popular single page apps and real-time apps are built on it because of its asynchronous and event-driven model. Yeah, that's true. So JavaScript is Node.js is asynchronous and it's fast, of course. It's efficient. Like you use it, it gives you everything real quick. Okay, let's say Zoom, for instance. Zoom does live updates, like everything updates very, very fast, and you want to guess it's Node.js that is behind it. So it delivers things in real time, delivers information, delivers data in real time, like chat applications. Think of it, your Twitter. Yes, everything happens very fast. It's best, yes, you can guess. It's cool. Well, yeah, you can just guess Node.js is in action. In fact, if you want to build, let's say, should I say this betting site, how they deliver live scores? Node.js is best for that kind of project too because it does everything super fast. You don't have to wait long for it to. It can process large data and give you in a matter an amount of milliseconds. Yes, everything is just super fast. So it's also worth mentioning that Node.js is an open source. Yeah, we've talked about that. Okay, so its application supports packages from other languages through NPM, yeah, which is the largest and most popular available repository at this moment. Yes. So NPM, you must have heard of NPM, like NPM Start, NPM Install, NPM that. Yes, we'll talk about NPM also. So one thing is when you install Node.js, it comes with NPM. Yes, so at least NPM gives you access to like install packages, yeah, from other developers. Yes. So now let's look at some advantages of Node.js. So okay, yeah, someone is ready. Okay, Joe, please, let's have you.
Oh, sorry. What's the full meaning of the NPM?
What do you have to say, please? If you have any question, please.
No, I'm asking a question. What is the meaning of NPM?
Okay, it's Node Package Manager. Okay, so
Okay, thank you. That's just what I wanted to know.
okay, Node Package Manager. So yeah, it manages Node.js packages. So if you want to install a package or maybe a package or maybe packages, you can just run your npm install or go to npm. Let's have the site opened up here. So npm js. So we're still going to come back to npm. So let's just relax for that. Well, let it be open there on that tab. Okay, so yeah, advantages of Node.js. Well, it's easy to learn. JavaScript is easy, right? So it's easy to learn, high performance and efficiency. Well, it's easy to learn. It's even easier to learn when you are already working with JavaScript on the front end. That's it. Every idea, the concept, it's JavaScript. It's not a language. It's just a runtime, a JavaScript runtime. You just come to that particular runtime, like it's an environment where you can execute JavaScript codes. So just bring your JavaScript knowledge, bring it, and then apply it, and it will work for you. All you have to do is just to learn some of the like some of the modules, learn how to use those modules. Okay, so we're still going to talk about Node.js. So we'll go to their documentation and check it out. So that's it. If you want to install any package, you install and then go to their site, read their documentation, and then that's it for you. The documentation is always in JavaScript. It's Node.js, right? It's always in JavaScript syntax. It's not as if you go to their documentation, you're seeing Python syntax. No, it's JavaScript. Okay, so it's also high performance and efficiency. Yeah, it's okay, high performance and efficiency. We've talked about that. Delivers data very fast, processes requests very fast. It's efficient. It does not lag. Like you're fetching something and it's taking a lot of time. So boosted development speed. Yes. It allows you to build very fast too. Since it's fast, you don't have to be waiting for so long for, okay, you make a GET request, I have to wait for this long for it to come back. No, it's fast. Okay, single programming language, yes, both front end and back end. Using JavaScript, React.js, Vue.js, Angular. What else? Call it JS, right? Yeah, we're using Node.js too, so we can work together. So extensive packages and libraries via npm, yes. So we can install as much packages you want. Bring those packages. See, in fact, your single npm install can take in multiple packages. Just put their name there and just press your enter to install everything for you. Like, okay, so there are some codes that you might be finding difficult to write, or you don't even know how to implement them. It's available, it's been minified for you in npm. Just go there, install that package, read through the documentation on how to use it, and that's all. So powerful data processing, yes. Okay, like you're fetching something from a database now, and let's assume you're fetching, and let's say 1,000 rows or 10,000 rows of records from your database. You know, it's heavy. 1,000, it's heavy. Unlike, I don't know about other programming language, but JavaScript, this Node.js, it does not take long. Bring the amount, or process it and bring it out as fast as possible. That's it. Node.js is efficient and it's fast. Fetch your information from your database and we'll help you out as fast as we can. That's what Node.js is telling you. Just bring it in. So also fast environment for microservices, yes. So you can use it to build microservices, and because of how fast it is, it can fetch all those information for you very, very fast. So what to build with Node.js, what to build, yes, you might want to ask. So yeah, backend REST API. So well, for me, let's see. So REST API is representational state transfer. Well, I saw that online. So that's what REST means. And then you can also go in depth and read about it. It is an architecture style for providing standards between computer systems on the web, making it easier for systems to communicate with each other over HTTP protocol. Yeah. So REST is usually an HTTP protocol. Yeah. So backend REST API, that's API stands for Application Programming Interface. Yeah, and we'll be building that in a matter of days. We'll be getting to that part soon, but it might not be on this call or on this meeting. So also real-time services. Yes, you can use to build real-time services like apps that deliver stuff in real time, like your chat apps. I used Twitter, for instance. So there's nothing like you're loading to another page. It's single page. What's fetches stuff asynchronous, like just tap and it will load and process the data in the background and then bring it out for you. It's very fast. Just imagine Twitter, you know Twitter already. It doesn't delay. Fetch something and it will give you. That's an example of Node.js app, or how fast it can deliver its data. So yeah, live updates. Okay, like Zoom, for instance. Now I'm talking and you're hearing instantly, even if it's like taking like maybe some milliseconds to deliver. That's it. You don't wait for minutes. No, you don't wait for 30 seconds. Okay, if I say hi here now, to take time for you to hear the hi. No. So blogs and e-commerce, well, sometimes your network might determine the how fast it delivers the packet it's sending to you. So you can also use it to build blogs and e-commerce apps. Yes. So those are the things you can use Node.js for, and there are other things you can use to build. These are just examples of things you can use it to build. So now, how do you install Node.js? Okay, it's very simple. So, but first, yeah, you have to go to their site. I think it's here. So when you hit nodejs.org, it brings you to this page, and then you see how to install it. So you have the long-term supported version here, which is version 14.17.6. And then you have the current version also, which is 16.10.0 as of this time, as of the time of this video. Yeah. So that's it. Okay, so this current version now, I wouldn't advise you to like jump straight into this current version because me, I believe it's for super developers because there's still some features that are still in testing or well, for this current version, the support period or the period that they are using to support it. I don't know if you can check. I think there should be a change log here. So there's a time frame for it. Like if it can support maybe from year 2021 to year 2023. But for the long-term support, that would take you for like at least maybe 4 years before there's any other change to it or update to it. So that's just it. So development is still going on this LTS version. Like it's standard and it's stable. You're not likely to get any bugs when using it, unlike the current version. Okay, so for Windows user, I think you just basically have to just click on it and it will start downloading for you, or you can just come to this download section here on the nav bar, just click downloads, then to take you down here, you can download whatever version or whatever um, OS you're using. Choose any one that suits your OS. So you can go for the 32-bit or the 64-bit. So also, what should I say? Linux users, you might find this a bit tricky to install that if you're not so good with Linux. Well, I'm also using Linux, but I'm using Ubuntu. So where's my CLI? Okay. Yes. Okay. So well, for Windows users, so you just have to just download your MSI version. Click on MSI, choose anyone whether it's 32-bit or 64-bit. And I think for Mac OS users too, they have their own here. But for Ubuntu users, that's Linux users, you can just run your sudo apt, I think it's sudo apt get install also. Sudo apt get install. Okay, so you should have to get install Node.js. Yeah. When you hit your enter, to ask you for your password and then you fill it in and to start installing it. So I already have it installed here, so I think that's why I didn't download it. Okay, so let's go back to our doc, check what we have next on it. Okay, so so these are some basic commands here. You might already have Node.js installed, but how do you know? Well, it can be installed on your system. If you're using Windows, you can find it in your app drawer. So, but then you can also use your CLI to just check the version you have. If you don't have it, to just give you an error or so. So you want to run node, then dash version, node version. So, and then you enter. So I already have it installed here. So the version I have here is version 10.19.0. Likewise, NPM too. Well, how would you know that you have NPM installed? You can also do your NPM version. So it's going to be NPM -- version, and then you enter. Then that should give you the version if you have it installed. So, well, automatically, once you install Node.js, it's going to come with it. So, but I'm coming, let me see if we can run sudo. Okay, so yeah, you can't. You can only do, then apply the install flag, okay. So also you can also install it like independently, or if your what's it called? If your Node.js did not install it alongside, then you can do sudo apt get install npm. Well, for Windows user, I'm sure it's always going to come with it. So that's it. All right, so let's see what we have next. Sorry guys, do you have any questions so far? Okay, so Joe, you might want to mute yourself. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and we'll ask you to speak. Okay, Suleiman, please go ahead with your question.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. I noticed the version for my npm is different from the one you have on your system because I was also using Linux, so I installed alongside with you.
Okay.
I was
Wait,
having version
did you just
6
install it
point.
now?
Yes, I just did.
Okay, so
I
the
was
version of the
having
npm,
version
right?
6.14, but I noticed yours was 7.24.
So I think you might want to do something like npm. Should I say update? Okay, so why don't you just try that? Npm update npm.
Okay.
Okay. But then if you execute, if you run any package, it's going to tell you if you once you start your server or once you do npm install a package, it's going to tell you that there's a newer version of npm and then to give you the commands to run. So I think I just updated mine recently.
Okay, but although I've not launched the program yet, I just did the update, but I was still getting the same 6.14. Maybe when I launch the program, it's going to ask me for updates, so I can update them.
Okay. Well, you can also try that sudo apt-get install npm.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Also try that. Or you can run update instead of install. All right. Okay. Cool. So so that is that. So we have our node, and then we have our npm. Okay. So basic JavaScript code. I think. So I think we can just start now that we have our Node.js installed and npm available. So we can start executing commands from our Node.js CLI, right? Okay. So let me also mention this CLI. Let me talk about it a bit. So once you install Node.js, it comes with a CLI where you can execute. Well, that CLI is called, I think it's called REPL. So it's read, evaluate, print, loop. I think that should be it. So REPL, right? So to enter into your CLI or your REPL, whichever you want to call it, you just have to type node on your default CLI first, like your default command line interface. It could be maybe your PowerShell or your CMD or whichever you have. Okay, just type node there. If you have node installed, it's going to like take you straight to the CLI or the REPL. So now I'm just going to hit my enter and then see what I have here now. I think it has changed now with this. Now it's, I think the name of the user and then the name of the user has been replaced with this greater than sign here. So now you can, I think here you can't do something like node dash dash version here. Can you? No, you can't do that here. So here basically it's for you to like just type in your JavaScript codes and it's going to just start working for you. Is there something like clear? Yeah, so let me just pop out it real quick. Yeah, node. Okay, so now we're in our CLI now, or REPL rather. So where's our browser? Get that. So we can just start executing our JavaScript codes. Yeah. So guys, I don't really know if you guys have been following up on our previous JavaScript classes. We've done about 2 classes on JavaScript. So before we can start JavaScript, Node.js rather, already you should know that by now you should know that you need to have ideas of how to use JavaScript. Yes, you need to know your JavaScript because you can't come into Node.js without JavaScript knowledge. It should just be like moving into a new language entirely, like jumping from JavaScript to PHP. You have to learn, or in fact, if you're using JavaScript and you want to learn PHP, already you have an understanding of functions, your arrays, and the likes. Yeah, you have knowledge of arrays, function, and everything. So the syntax are almost the same thing. Well, the ideas are almost the same, if not the same. but the syntax are just the differences. Yeah. But then if you don't have any knowledge of JavaScript at all and you just want to start learning programming, man, you have to go through the fundamentals. So please, if you don't have any idea or you want to refresh your memory on JavaScript, please, you can also watch our JavaScript tutorials, the previous ones before this one. So now we have, okay, so I think we have a variable declared here. So let's just see some things we can do with our CLI. So, okay, let me just say, declare variable const. Well, this is how I've been doing it on the front end. We've done this before in our previous class. Well, yeah, we've done it in our previous class. So you can say const name, and then assign it to Emmanuel. Hit enter, it's returned undefined, but let's access that name variable now. Yeah, you see, we have our value. So we execute, yeah, we execute our name variable and it gives us our value back. That's it. It reads, it evaluates, and it print out, and then it repeats it. Read, evaluate, print, loop. Yes, that's REPL for you. Okay, so let's do something even complex. Let's see. Let's try numbers. Const num equal to 5. Hit enter. Check num. It's 5. Okay, let's const num2 equal to, let's say 10. Hit enter. Let's access num2 now. Okay, the variables, yeah, we have num2, we have num1. So how about num3? Const num3, and then assign it to the addition of, let's sum the two values, that's the num1 plus num2. Okay, so num3 is made up of the addition of the num1, the num, and the num2. Hit enter. See num3. We have 15. Yeah, we added 5 plus 15, 5 plus 10 rather. Then we have 15. So basically, you can do everything you can in your code editor. You can do them here. So this is like the environment for like running your Node.js code. Well, call it JavaScript. So this is more like the runtime. Think of it as a runtime also. So where you can come here, execute all your commands, like all your JavaScript codes, execute them here to work. So how about functions? Function. No. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Say add. Takes in a value. Let's say num1 and then num2. Takes in two values. And for as parameter. Oh, great. How do I? Okay, so let's say I think we have to change this guy to num1 and add numbers. Okay, so it's just basically it's going to return the addition of num1 and then num2. That's the addition of the parameters. So we hit enter. So now let's access that add num. So we can have like let's say 10 for the first number, and then let's say 10 for the second number, and hit enter. Yeah, we got 20. So that's it. You can create your functions, you can create arrays, you can create objects, you can create variables. Yes, that's it. You can do everything you that. Okay, yeah. So Suleiman, please go ahead, ask your question. Suleiman, please go ahead. Suleiman.
Yes,
Okay.
Elijah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can. Please ask your question. You raised your hand.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yes, I had a little bit issue with my network. I noticed I did the same thing you did, but I was having an error trying to print the Emmanuel name.
Okay. So did you save it in a variable?
Yeah, it was yes,
Okay.
constant Emmanuel, constant name Emmanuel. So okay, okay.
Yeah, so that means you've not been watching our tutorials. So you need to go and like watch that introduction to JavaScript tutorial. Yeah, you need to watch it.
Yeah. Okay, I did the same thing. There is a space between the constant and the name.
Yeah, regardless of that, it should still work.
Okay,
So
it
you
was
should really
giving me.
okay, wait, slow down a bit. If you've declared a variable before, you can't
Yes.
redeclare that variable again. Like, so you just have to like create another variable with another name, not name you assigned to it before.
Okay.
Not the same name. So you can just do something like const name one, then equal to the value, and then just that's the name of that variable. You can just type it in your CLI and then hit enter. It should give you the value. Okay, you guys, you need to really watch that the past or the previous videos. So you need to watch it. So I think the reason why we've been feeling maybe somehow lazy to watch is because we've not been getting assignments on JavaScript. Yes. So I think we'll start having an assignment. In fact, after this video, I'm going to give an assignment. Well, it could well, it might be an assignment that is not related to what we'll treat here, but it's going to be based on what we've done before. So at least that would force you guys to, go through the videos again. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So we've looked at some commands here, some basic commands on this our CLI here or repo. Also, let's now look at npm. What is npm? So the Node package manager allows you to install third-party libraries or packages from their large database of repositories in your project so that you can start using them. Yes, you can bring in a package from npm and then start using it in your code, just like fetching other people's code and then using it in your code. But it's not stealing, it's open source, so you can go there and fetch anything you want and use it. So that's it. Okay, so we have some examples here, and I think there's a link to them here. So let's see. Okay, so this is Express.js. It's very popular. Yes, we'll be using Express.js like very often. In fact, in all our projects, we'll be using it to be managing our server, using it to be handling requests and some other things. So this is Express website. That's Express.js website. So this is the command you would want to run to install it in your code base. Yes, just basically just type in npm install express dash dash save. Okay, so now okay, let's look at npm as a whole. This is npm site. Yeah, this is the website of npm. That's that guy that has that large repositories of repository of JavaScript code. Just take your JavaScript development up a notch. Wow, that's a great one. So they said you should build amazing things. So yes, so of course you can. So let's see. Let's install it. Let's see this Express. So basically you come here, you search for your favorite or your desired package, search for the name and then to bring up the package, and you can see how to use it here. So it says Express, tells you that you should install it by running. This is it. This installation here. So basically just run npm install and then the package name. So in order to use npm, you have to always do something called the name. That's the npm. You have to always like declare the name and then what exactly do you want to do. That's the command you want to use there has to be the next and then for this example, it says npm install. So install, basically it installs a package. So the next thing that follows it is a package. That's the package name to install. So you run npm install, the name of that package you want to install. So okay, so I think we have like some other types here, some other libraries. Okay, now we have Nodemon. So let's also search Nodemon. Okay, we've searched Express, right? This is the installation method. So after installing Express, how can you use it, or how do you start using it? Basically, when you install a package, you just require the package. Yes, you require it, and then you put the name of the package within the curly braces. I mean, the parentheses of the require function, and then it will bring that package in, and then it gives it to you, and then you can start using it in your code base. So another popular one, Express is popular, yes. Another one is Nodemon. Basically, Node Monitor or something. You can call it Node Monitor because it does something similar to that. In fact, that's what it does. To just monitor your code base. When it notices any difference or any changes, like reloads your server for you. So now, how do you install this guy? So it's npm install. And notice we have a -g flag here. This -g flag is saying that, oh, npm, I want you to install this particular this particular package in my global space, like in your global environment. That's basically, it will not just install in that project alone, it will be installed on your system. So furthermore, if you want to use this package, you just have to like require it, basically. Yes. So also this npm install --save -dev is, this guy is saying that, oh, I want you to install Nodemon as a dev dependency. Okay, this is getting too much, right? We'll have to look into it one after the other. So first thing first. Let's see how to initialize a Node.js project. Let's see how to start a Node.js project, right? Okay. Now we have to be looking into our what's it called, code editor. So, well, for me, basically, we have Node.js installed, right? So before we start bringing in packages, why not look at Node.js within our command line interface, or rather our code editor? Let's just take a look at what we can use Node.js for, regardless of packages. We don't want to use packages first, right? Let's just take a look at what we can do with Node.js first before using packages to simplify our code base. Yeah. So like now we have what's it called? We have HTTP here, a variable called HTTP, and then we have the require keyword. So we looked at how to like bring in packages before, right? So okay, let me also mention something to you guys real quick. So there's a saying that said in Node.js, everything is a module. So like everything is a module in Node.js. And what is a module? Like a module is should we say is like a component or a set of a set of tasks that has been written in a code or in a file that you can also use in another file. So it's a set of tasks. You just create this particular task. Okay, this code has some tasks that it does. It has some things that it has to do. So I want to like use that particular task in this separate file here. Okay, all you have to do is bring in that particular task or module and then start executing some of the tasks or some of the things it can do. Start doing them in this particular file. I don't know if that made any sense, or I don't know if I'm communicating. Okay, so so now we have require. So also, oh, okay, when we hover on this guy here, yeah, when we hover on this HTTP in this require parameter, it says it's a module and it's HTTP. So it tells you what this particular module does. So it says to use the HTTP server and client one. Okay, to use the HTTP server and client one must require the HTTP, of course. So if you want to use any module, you have to require it. So in this case now, we are bringing in HTTP. It's best you know that there are some modules or packages that are built within Node.js. So Node.js has some of its built-in modules. So let's check Node.js again. So let's see their documentation. So this is Node.js here. This is their docs. Okay, so this is their docs, and then we want to go to guides. Okay, so I think my network is kind of slow today, right? Are we there yet? Oh, okay, this is it here. So getting started guide, yeah. Let's see that. Okay, so this is it. You know, you can just come here and look for things to use, some of their modules. So coming API. Yes, okay, let's see this one. So okay, we have assertion, C++. Okay, I'm coming. Something I'm looking for here. Okay, so this is an assertion. Okay, so this is HTTP, right? Okay, so you can come to this Node.js, explore it a bit, and then it will list out some of its core modules for you. So it has some modules here that you can use without having to like install them from NPM. So basically, if you want to install something that, well, the basic idea is you want to install a package. That means the package isn't here in, it isn't a core module, a core package in Node.js. Or maybe instead of creating a server with Node.js core package or core module, you want to make your life easier. You want to use Express to make it easier for you. Yes, that's when you like install those packages. So, okay, now we have this HTTP module here. So if you want to go over it, like you want to read more about it, you can here. Okay, like clients. Okay, we clicked on abort. So what does this guy do? So we have it here now, event abort. So we have event connect, and you can read more about it and how to use it. So now this is it here. You have HTTP, we required HTTP, or they required it here. They also required the net module. They also required the URL module. And then they are doing some magics here. Some magics that you don't have to worry about for now. But the idea behind this is just to show you how you can like read more about these things. So you can also read more on this file system. So basically you can use Node.js to access a device file system. Okay, let's assume that we are running on a Node.js server and a client tried to open our app on their phone. So like running our app on their phone, we can have access. That means we can have access to their file system. We can read things in their file system. We can also write things to their file system. Yes, that's possible. We can do a lot of things. Like Node.js gives you ability to do things that the browser wouldn't allow you to do. The client-side JavaScript wouldn't allow. Yes, because you can't access my file system using your client-side script. You cannot check the name of or the OS of my phone or of my laptop on your JavaScript file, the client-side JavaScript. You can't do those things. It restricts you to things you can do. But Node.js gives you, wow, large freedom. Well, you just have to use it carefully so you don't break things in people's phone. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so the basic script we have here is how to create a server. So this is like creation of a server. So with using the HTTP module. So I think we stumbled upon that here. Yeah, I think we did. Let's see. I think now we want to go back to the guides. Yeah. Great.org. So let's take a look at how to create a server. We already have it though. See on the guide. Yeah, getting started, right? Okay, so basically, I think this is it here. Basically, this is all you need to create a server. So all you have to do is just require the HTTP module. Well, how do you do that? It's here. Basically, it's here. Just just have your variable declared, and after that, just your require keyword. So just type require, and then it's a function, so you have to call it, and then you pass in the module that you want to use. In this case, HTTP. So okay, we have HTTP now, right? Also, we also have FS here, which is the file system module. It allows you to read files. So first thing, I think we should just log. Well, if you don't know what to do, or if you don't know like the methods that are on a particular object, or a method that are on a particular function, all you just have to do is just log it to the console, and then your console can tell you what's in it. So in this case, let's just see if we can get some things here. Okay, so now we have a Node.js script within this file, right? We created a server by doing http.create server. This create server, it's a method on this HTTP object, right? So this create server now creates a server, and it takes in a callback function. We've treated callback function before. All you have to do is just go back to the previous introduction to JavaScript video and watch. Okay. So we have a function here as a callback. So it takes in a request and a response parameter, and then this request and response parameter, they are also objects on their own. So they are also objects. So what it's doing now is it takes out this right head from this this response object. So it calls that, and then it pass in right here that it passes in a status code. This is a lot to take in now, but sure, trust me, you get used to it. In fact, I think this might be the only video that will be using Node.js HTTP core core module to create a server. So from here now, from this tutorial, the next tutorial, we're going to be introducing Express.js, which will make everything easier for us. But then this one is just to let you know that, okay, this thing, you can create it with Node.js. It's more like fundamental, just call it that. You have to know this first. It's not a must though, but it's best you know it so you know what is going on when you're using those libraries or packages. So now what this is doing is it sets the status code to 200. So the 200 stands for okay. Yeah, you can Google HTTP status codes. Yes, you can Google that if you want. So this 200 means okay, that means everything seems fine. And then it sets the content type to text/HTML. Yeah, if you're familiar with your front-end codes, like your, what's it called? Your HTML, when you want to like bring in a like let's say a file and using your link tag, don't forget that you do something like type text/HTML, right? And also type text/CSS. That's it. That's more like it here now. But this, we call it content type. It tells the server to know that okay, the file you're expecting is text or HTML, something like that, right? Okay, so that's it. It can also be text/CSS. That's if you want to like send out a CSS file. Okay, so we don't have so now the next line of code, let me comment this.
Hello, can anyone hear me? Hello, please, if you can hear me, just let me see an emoji so that I'll be sure that we are together. Good morning, everyone. Please, can you all hear me? I just
Yeah,
want to make sure.
we can hear you.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, okay. So I think his network is actually having a problem, but so far so good. I'd like to know if we are all following, and if you have any problem before he comes back, if you have any problem as regards to your installation, as regards to how far he has gone, and maybe somewhere along the line you were confused, you can actually ask. You can just raise your hand and ask your question, and I'll attend to you before he comes back. Okay, I think I'll be calling names. Martins, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think for now,
Okay, okay,
I'm okay. I don't have a question regarding the installation.
okay, okay, okay. But you've installed it before?
Yes,
Before now,
I've
have you
installed
installed
it.
it?
Yes, before now I've installed it and installed
All,
NPM as well.
all right, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Mumtaz, can you hear me? Mumtaz, can you hear me? If you are there, please say something. Mumtaz, are you there? All right, I can see you dropped a message. So yeah, how far so good have you've been following? So along the line, do you have any challenge so far? Mumtaz, if you are there. All right, let me move on to Promise. How you Promise? Promise, are you there?
I'm fine. I don't have any question.
Okay, no question. Thank you very much. Okay, Elijah is back, so he'll continue. We continue from where he ended.
Okay, guys. I really want to apologize to all of you. I think my network just fucked me up, and then my system supported it too. So, but thank God we're back here now. Okay. All right. Where did we stop? So I had to just restart my system. Okay. Sorry. Let me share my screen again. And Mr. Emmanuel, please. Oh, sorry, Mr. Samuel. Thank you so much for having my back.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we have the this thing here now. Sorry, can you see my screen? Guys, can you see my screen? Okay. Please, can someone speak up? Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Oh, okay. Mr. Martins, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I said okay. I think the comments didn't apply. Okay, so I said this rest.writeHead, what it's trying to do here is it's trying to set the status of the server status rather. It's trying to set the status, the header status to 200, which means okay. That means you've been successfully, like you are. It means that what you are fetching has been fetched successfully, and then it gives it tells the type of file that you are fetching or the type of file that will be sent out rather. So this response now is what happens when you send in a request. Let's assume the browser, for instance, now you try to access our server. Well, our server always have a location, right? So let's assume your website name, your domain name. When they hit, let's say facebook.com. So what happens when they hit that particular server, that endpoint? Let's assume the home URL. So firstly, you're going to get a response when you make a request. There's going to always be a response. But if there's no response, that means you're just going to be stuck in that particular state. Your browser will just keep loading and loading and loading until it times out there. Okay, so this tells it's a status code of 200. So if you check the status codes we have, HTTP status codes, you find codes from 200 being like positive codes. Like we have 200, we have 201, I think we have 203, and so on and so forth. We also have in the error categories, we have like 400 upward. Okay, 400 upward, and also we have some server status code too, like that related, like it's related to this the server. Like if you try to, maybe you try to fetch something from a server and it's having internal like system error, it's going to give you 500 as a status code telling you that there's an error within the server itself. So, but errors from 400, I think there are errors relating to the pertaining to the user. Maybe you spelled something bad, or maybe you didn't include some particular, or maybe you're trying to like log into a website and then your login, let's say your login password is wrong. It's going to give you a status code of, it depends on the status code that the server returned or responded with. But most times it's going to be like 403 to know that bad input, like to know that you imputed bad input. Okay, but if you are the one creating the server, of course, you want to consider the type of status code you send out. Yes. You won't want to send 200 for an error. It won't make any sense. 200 means okay, and it's used mostly for GET request when you're getting something from the server. Okay. Okay, and also set the content type and content type of, let's go with this one, text/HTML. So now, after setting the header, I don't even know, let's see if this code would work. So, okay, so if you, let's say when you create a server like this, well, you can't just create a server and then go to your browser and type maybe localhost, the name of your port, the number of your port or so. You have to start the server. So how do you start the server now? You already created a server here. It's dormant. It won't execute if you don't execute it, right? That means it won't execute itself. So you just have to be in that same directory. If you check my terminal now, I have node/nodejs as /nodejs, and then if you check this folder here, the name of the folder is nodejs, which means I'm inside of it, and I have an index.js file here that's contained that this server code is within. So now I want to execute it now. All I have to do is run node, then the name of the file that the server is within. That the code of the that the content, or that this your HTTP create server, or where you create your server is. So all you have to do is just run it node index.js. If there's any error, I don't know. Yeah, if there's any error, let's see. Let's check if there's error first. If error. So I think so this fs.read file. Okay, this is fs.read file, and it's trying to read a file in this same directory called index.html. So if it can, or if it reads it successfully, it's going to write the file that you have res here. So also notice that fs.read file takes in the first argument is that means the first parameter is the file they're trying to read, and then the second in this case is a callback function. So the first parameter on the callback function is error. So you can think of this particular method here as an error first method. So the first argument is error, and then the second is data. Well, we'll look into that some other time, but then just understand that if there's any error, it's going to be logged. As I did here, I checked if there's an error and then I logged it to the console. So in case there's no error, so you have to learn how to use your if and else statement well, because I mentioned in the last tutorial that those things are essential for Node.js. In fact, if you don't have a good start with JavaScript, you'll be finding it difficult to cope with Node.js. So of course, there's going to be an error, right? If I try to access this, okay, these are the properties or the methods on top of our HTTP module that we required. Here, I logged it to the console here, so which is why we are seeing a bunch of stuff here in the console here. So these are things you can do with this HTTP module to comment that out. And then we have to restart our server. If you make any changes, you have to, or any change, you have to restart the server. So do it again, node index. So we've executed this file. Well, I don't have any index.html file yet, so I'm assuming that we'll get an error. So how do we start now? Let's just go to the browser first. Remember, our port is on 3000, right? So let's try localhost 3000 and see what we get. Check. Let's check. So this is it now. We started the server, and then we how did we start it? Well, we created our code, like our HTTP code to help us create the server, and then we execute this file in the CLI or the terminal, and then we went to our browser to access it. So by default, if you create a server, by default, it's always going to be on a local host. That's always going to be on what's it called? On an IP code, I think is 12.0.0.7. Yeah. Right, it could be 7 is the IP address for the server. So, well, they've also represented this this default IP with localhost. So if you type in this, it should work fine, and if you use localhost, it should also work fine. Is it 127? Come in, forgive me. It's been long I used this. All of us prefer localhost because basically it's simple. Okay, so now if you check our terminal, remember we checked if there's an error on this fs.read file. So like I said earlier, we are using HTTP module and we're also using fs module. So basically what fs is file system module. What it does is it's basically your file system. It represents your file system. So if you launch your file manager, that's this fs here in our Node.js. So it's file manager module. So you can use it to read file, you can use it to write file, you can use it to update file, you can use it to delete a file. So that's how powerful Node.js is. It can mess with your systems. Your systems, well, settings to some level. You can check the OS, you can get the name of the OS and things like that. So for this, in this instance, now we're using fs module and also the HTTP server or HTTP module. So now our fs, we try to use our fs to read our file, like file from the system, which is index.html. So since in this folder now, since there's no any index.html, we are getting an error. And this is how we handle our error. We check if there's an error, then we log it to the console. And now that there is an error, we check our console, we see it here. So the error is how do I pronounce this? Nonent. Enoent. Let me make this bold. Yeah, so this is the error. And then it says no such file or directory. Open. This is where we are trying to access or what we're trying to open. So I'm just going to create it here now. Create file index.html. So I create that file and then just have to do some basic HTML5 templates, HTML5. Yeah. So I'll just have h1. Okay, so we have our HTML file here now. We've created that. So all we have to do is restart our server so that everything can, also I can like try to relaunch again. So node index, don't forget the name of the JavaScript file that is starting the server is index.js. If you create your own file name with app.js, all you have to do is go straight into that directory that it is and then node the name of the file. So that's what I'm executing in the console here, and it is what is starting or launching the server for us. So let's see our browser again. So we have localhost 3000. The reason why we have :3000 is because of our specified port. So this listing now tells the server to listen on a particular port. So it starts, if you can see, the description is start a server listening for connections. Now it's a net.server, can be TCP or well, you don't have to bother about that. But all you have to watch here is see the server.listing method here. The first param is port and it's accepting a number. So the next parameter is host name. You can choose to put your host name. They can choose to specify the host name, but by default is localhost or our 127.0.0.1. So we've started the server again. Please, let's check our, oh yeah, I think we've restarted already. And now we're getting hello from Node.js. So let's recap again. What we did here is we created an HTTP, let's say we require the HTTP module first. Also, we require the file system module. And then we created a server on our HTTP, what's it called, function, or rather method or object. Sorry, it's an object. So HTTP is an object. Create server is a method within the object. We talked about methods and object and the likes in the other video, the previous video we did. We also talked about callback function. So it's a callback function. What it's doing is we have the request and we have the response parameter. So request is basically, it contains the information about the person that is, or the client that is requesting something from us. So request has loads of methods within it, likewise response. So let's assume that if you have a parameter, we would want to access that. If we have a query parameter, if you want to check that, we'll have to use our request object because it's always going to be on top of it. But I think that's beyond this tutorial for now. So this response now is what we're working with. We set the status code to 200 here, and then we set the content type to text/HTML to let our the browser know that, oh, or the system knows that, okay, the file that you're sending out is an HTML file, a text/HTML file. So now that I want to send that file out, we use our file system module to read that file. Notice this dots and / means that, hey, this particular file is in this current directory. So that's it. And we created it here, which is our index.html file on this other hand here. So yeah, and then we check if there's an error accessing that file. At first, we didn't create the file, so at first we got an error. So now that we've created the file, it checked if there's an error. Since there's no error, it goes to the else statement and then writes that file to the browser. It writes it as a response. And then the next thing, we use end to close the connection. So now let's go over this end. Now let's see what they talk about this end. So calling the writable.end method signals that no more data will be written to the writable. So it tells tells the should I say server that okay, oh, guy, I'm done reading files. I'm done with all my requests or processing everything I'm processing. So now you can just help me close the server. I mean, yeah, close the connection rather. So rest.end closes the connection. Okay, and you can also use it to print out a message too. I think, yeah. You can use it to print out a message. So, okay, it has a callback. Okay, it has a callback. Okay, so let's try to work with that callback. Let's see. Function. Okay, anonymous function, and it's not returning anything. Console.log done. Okay, so and also we can also have a callback here. Okay, so let's have a callback here. So it's also an anonymous function that returns nothing. It does not return anything, but we can just say console. So we can check that. Check that. So listening on ports. So now, at least we have some visual stuff happening in our console now. So let's just restart this guy. Restart. We got listening on port 3000. That means it has opened a connection on a port of 3000. So now when you try to access localhost, it's still now you know that, oh, there's a port opened on 3000. So your connection to 3000 is available. So now you can go to the browser now and then run your code. I mean, try to access our server, and then it gives you hello from Node.js, which is what we specified in the HTML file. And then we got done here in the console. So what that done is it's being logged by this guy here, this rest.end, saying that, oh, we are done with this request. So we are closing this connection. So, okay, let's just comment this guy out. So I think rest.write can help us to close the connection too. Let's see. Okay, rest.write closes it writes that particular stuff. Then, oh, pardon me, please. I didn't restart the server. So let's restart the server. Notice if you make any change, you have to restart the server for that change to take effect. So the connection is still open. Notice that I still have this guy loading here. He said it says stop loading this page. As if I click this cancel, it's going to stop loading the page. So that's it. When you open a connection, you always want to close the connection. So because we didn't close, notice that we've taken off this rest.end now. So and now it's let's say it has successfully it has written this file to the page, and then what happens next? You have to stop the connection for everything to go safely away. Let's see. Let's use another tab. Close this guy. Use a new tab. Paste it in. So what we want to do now, I want to know if it will actually write that particular data to the browser first. Okay, so it has written it to the browser and the connection is still opened. Notice that on the tab here, it's still loading. You still have that loading GIF or whatever that is. So you have to always close your connection if you open it. So our rest.end helps us to close the connection. Okay, so that's just basically how to start a server. And I'll tell you guys, please do not forget to mess around some things here. You can go to the Node.js site and check their documentation. Okay, so I think we still have some minutes to go. Yes, if I'm not wrong. So let's also look at our documents here. If there's other things we can do here, and if there's not, if we don't have anything to do, so we can just basically use npm. So we have NPM here, guys. And please, if you guys have any questions so far, please, I'd like to know. It's just a few people we have here. I think we have some chats. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Mr. Samuel. I really appreciate he has given us another code here. So a good resource of your status code. Okay. So somebody gave us a link to where to find status codes. Wait. I'm getting frustrated. Let me just close all these tabs here. It could be part of what is slowing my system. Oh boy. Forgive me, guys. I was trying to maintain. Okay, so this is enough now. So we can just HTTP status code. So yeah, you always want to learn how to make research on your own. Okay, so let's say we were given a project now that they said you should use, let's say, a package that you've not used before. First thing you want to do is to check for the package. Go to NPM, search for it, search on Google, read about it, check their documentation. And then that's all. Since it's JavaScript, if you know your JavaScript very well, then there shouldn't be an issue working with it. So Mozilla, thank you. Let's see. We have reference to our status codes here. So information response from 10 to 199. Successful responses from 200 to 299. Redirect responses from 3000 to 399. That's 399. Client errors. Yes, errors from the client, bad input and the likes, or if they are forbidden from accessing a particular part of the server, yeah, some particular area, you want to restrict them. Let's assume that the user is not logged in, so of course they cannot access some particular area. So you have to make them log in first to be able to gain access. So server errors from 500 to 599. So you can also read about them here. Scroll down and read more about them. Okay, so now we've looked at REST, we've looked at file system module, HTTP module. Okay, why not check the OS module? So now, okay, so we have our server started. In fact, you can customize your index.html the way you like. Yes, but in this tutorial, we'll just leave it that way. So I'm going to stop the server. I'm going to comment out the code that is starting the server. So you have to just, you can just comment it out. Comment this guy out, right? Let me use a multi-line comment. So what we want to do is just basically testing our OS module. So let's just run, since we have it up here, instead of logging this HTTP, let's log OS first. Okay, so we logged OS, that's the OS module. We logged it to the console and then want to check what it entails. And there are a lot of methods here. Okay, so you can check the amount of free memory. You can check with arc, okay? Without arc. Or then there's a release. It's a function. So let's log that here. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So What is this? This is the release. I didn't even check what it means. So returns the operating system as a string on POSIX system. The operating system release is determined by calling uname. Okay. Okay, so you can also get the platform. OS.platform gives you what? Linux. Tells you that the operating system is running on Linux. Yep. Okay, so why not try to access that free memory? Let's see what it looks like. See, free memory function. So let's see the amount of free memory. Is this in bits or bytes? Okay, let's see. Let me try to slash it by 1000. Okay, so this is going to be something like I can't guess, but I think it's in megabits now, right? Like in megabytes. Like, is this 182.80 something kilobyte? I don't know. Okay, anyways, I have 4 gig of RAM installed on my system, so this could be like in megabytes, yes. Okay, so this is it. This is also how to use the OS module, but then you're not just stuck to checking free memory and the likes. You can also see some things here. Okay, let's log the OS module again. See what we can get out of it again. So maybe we should be able to access the user from here, like user info. Yeah, thank you. So .user info gets the user info. So now it gets the user info. So this is it's an object, returns a UID and a GID, and also the username and the home directory of the user, also the location of the bash file. So it's in bin and /bash. Okay, I mean the location of shell, so the bash file. Okay, so now you can I think CPUs. Let's check the CPUs. There are a lot of information here. Okay, so you can know if you can check the model. They're running on Intel and it's called what? i7. Okay, so this is my system information. I'm running on Intel Core i7 CPU, and also the speed in gigahertz. As this is the processor speed, 2.3 and 2.13 gigahertz. Yeah, fast enough. Okay, so this is just it all, guys. This is it, and this is the starting point. So this is just to show you how, like, what you can do with Node.js. So in our next tutorial, we're going to be looking at installing modules, creating a server. We can create a mock server, and we're still going to talk about how to save information on a database. And thank God we have we all passed through the stage of front end. We did some of front end tasks like creating a sign up page or a login form, things like that. So on this our tutorial now, as we journey along, we're going to make use of those. We're going to create a server. We are going to create what's it called, an API. So we'll be getting information from those our forms. I don't know, you want to make sure you style your form very well to get the best out of it. And also, if you know some JavaScript, you can also do some testing, like if it's a login or if it's a sign up page, you can also do some check-ins, like checking if the new or if the main password is correct with if it's the same thing with the the confirm password. You can also use your JavaScript to do some of those tests to check them if they are right, and then finally submit. So we'll have a server at the back end that's going to like get those information from the front end. So you just create your form and then try to link it together with the back end, and some interesting things. I'm going to do a bunch of them. So guys, okay, let me just let's try to let's talk a bit before it's 1 o'clock. Let's talk a bit about this, what's it called, npm here now. Okay, so we already have our index.html and index.js. So initially, if you want to start a Node.js a Node.js app or project, first thing you'd want to do is npm init. It initializes should I say Node.js app. Well, what it will do is first you need to ask you a lot of questions about the project you're about to start. So I need to save those projects in a package.json file. That package.json file is where you're going to be saving all the packages that you're going to be installing. All the packages that you're going to be installing from npm. It's going to contain your project name, the description, repository. In fact, all the information about your project is going to be stored in package.json when you initialize what's it called, a Node.js project. So let's just click enter. So now it's going to ask some questions. Ask you some questions saying, okay, this utility will walk you through creating a package.json file. It only covers the most common items and tries to guess sensible defaults. Yes. So now, like for instance, the package name, it's asking us what is going to be our package name. Well, we can say the default is Node.js as the name of the folder, but then you can override it. So package name, so it could be Node.js crash course, or then not crash course, intro. You click your enter. Okay, so well, the package name is not allowed to have space within it, so you have to just look for a way. Node.js underscore intro as the name of your package. So the version, well, by default is this version 1.0.0. Enter, I like it. Description, okay. Okay, so my keyboard. Introduction to Node.js. So our entry points now, this is good. So the entry point now, it means that when you want to like use npm script, we are still going to talk about that. So it tells you that it asks you for like the particular location where the server is, where the code that is starting the server is, the particular file that you wrote that code in. So in our own case now is index.js. In your case, you might have some, let's assume that you have some files within the particular folder before, and then you decide to like use npm to like create a package.json file. So then you want to like point it to that particular file. You want to tell it that, oh, this is the name of the file that is starting the server. So, but in some cases, you might want to run npm init first before starting to write your code. So what you have to just do is put a name that you know that it's going to be the name of that file that will be starting the server. Well, you can override this default later on. Okay, so in our case now, index.js is fine because that's it. That's the name of our file. So test, if you have some test commands, we're going to talk about that later. So enter Git repository. Do you have any repository for this project? If you do, you have to just put a name here. It's optional though, keywords. Optional author, let's say my name. I can't spell my name. Okay, that's it. License, I don't know, it could be MIT. If you have MIT, if you have a license, put it there. So it will ask you all this information. Are they cool by you? Do you like them? Yes, I do. Just can use Y. Say yes. Okay. Now, if you check our folder now, it has created. We have our package.json there now. So now let's check it. let's just go through it. Okay, so everything we specified in the command line got written out for us here in our package.json. Oh yeah, so it's written to this file. So that's cool. So here now you can, this is the main, now this main. Tells you that this is the main name of, this is the name of the script. Well, that does not have anything to do with you for now. So you can, now I think, okay, we have a script. Yes, now let's talk about scripts now. So this script, see what they say about it. They say the script member is an object hash of script commands that are run at various times in the lifecycle of your package. The key is the lifecycle event and the value is the command to run at that point. Okay, so instead of us running node index all the time, well, it's possible to run that, yes. So we can just like assign that particular this thing script to this our package.json. We can just put that here. We can call the name start, for instance. So is somebody trying to ask a question? If you are not, then please try to mute your mic, please. Okay. So let me just, that's command that we've been running on the terminal before. We're going to just like assign it to this this start what's it called, key. It will be the value of the start key. So it's going to be node index. And then okay. Sorry, there's someone mic is it's not muted yet. Can you please mute your mic? Okay, guys. If you have any question as regard to module, please ask questions. If you have any question, ask. And if you have contributions, yeah, you can also add to it too. So now we have our start script. So this is script. There are things that are going to be run, or like there are scripts that you can run on your command line. Yeah, for the entire life cycle of this your project here. So we have a start script, and when we execute, how do you execute a start script? So it's going to be, I think it's npm. For start, the default is just start. You can just run npm start. So npm would look into its script here in this package.json. This is our script here. It's going to look straight into it and then access start. So if you run this npm start, it's going to execute the particular what's it called? The particular command assigned to it. It's just like you creating a variable. So when you run that variable, it's going to give you back the output. So in this case now, we are saving an executable script here. So when we run npm start, it's going to like trigger oh, someone talking. Please Folayemi, please mute your mic. Thank you. Okay, so if we run this code, it's just going to like execute that particular command for us. Okay, I want to make this bigger so you can see. And then I think it's just one time. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, I'm going to just have to try to mute you myself. Oh, great. Yeah, he's muted himself. Thank you. Okay, so let me just execute this again. And don't forget, if you can remember, we logged OS, this is our OS module. We logged the CPU object on it, or method on it rather. So in fact, let's try to get a single value instead of getting a bunch of them. So this os.cpu's method, I think it's returning what's it called, an array of objects. So we want to try to get a single object from that array and then access the model. Yes, just that alone is enough. So now once we use our npm script to start the server, remember in our npm script, we have start script and is assigned the value of node index. And don't forget, we've been using node index to start our server since. So if I run node index dot, well, the extension name, it's not really important. You can just like omit the extension name. That's the .js file extension. You can remove the .js file extension and to still work fine for us. So let's stick to that. Let's just take it off now. So when we run node index, it's going to start the server. And then remember here also in our script file, the start script is accepting the value of node index also. So it's basically doing the same thing. So if you run node index, it's going to start or it's going to execute the file for us. So now it gives us this, I think well, it's what we're expecting though. So it's the amount of the model of the first object within the array that was returned from this os.cpu method. Yeah, this is it here. So it's executing the first object here, and then it's getting just the model out of it. So that's what we have here. Yeah. Okay. So npm start does the same thing as node index now. Yes. Okay, so guys, so that's basically just all we need to know for now. Okay, so I'm going to give a room for questions. So basically that's all. And don't forget to check Node.js documentation. Don't forget to check Node.js documentation, and you can use that documentation to keep yourself busy. Just interact with the things here. Now, look, they've created a server here now. So you can just copy this code, manipulate it, like edit it to your choice, and, get to know things that it does. Get to, just play around it. So you can use it as, if you get confused or if you have any questions, you can just like outline those questions. So in our next video or in our next tutorial, you can just ask those questions. That's it. Just explore. So now, guys, let me just stop sharing. Okay, guys. Now let's talk. Do you guys have any questions? And has this whole thing been has it been confusing? If it has been, then just raise your hand and say the parts that confuses you, and then we can talk about it in a bit. We have just 7 minutes to go. Mr. Martins, good evening, boss. Good afternoon, rather. Mr. Martins. Yeah, great. I can't hear you.
Good afternoon. I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, I'm just saying hi. Do you have any question?
Okay.
If we can answer your question, then we'll try as much as possible to answer.
Okay. For now, I don't have. I would just love to digest what you've taught us today, so that by next class, then we'll have much questions to ask.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Fola Homi. Oh yeah, let me see. Please, do you have any question?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, that's great. Momtaz, this name, big name. Momtaz, this is a big name.
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you for today's lesson.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Okay, I think that's all for now. Mr. Ike.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Remy. So to every other person, to the learners, yeah, just go back and assimilate what you've been taught. You're going to actually have to, yeah, you guys need to pick this up because you're going to be writing the backend for the mobile guys who will be building the applications. So that means you need to really grab a lot of stuff. So yeah, projects, there are projects that are actually just waiting for you. So pick up as much as you can, and then we get to see how much we can do. So for the mentors, Remy, thank you very much. Samuel, thank you for sharing your knowledge also. So the next class, okay, we'll just communicate that on the web backend channel, but I think you guys already have an idea of when you should meet. So just have a wonderful day ahead.